I'm going to be looking at a couple of doppelbocks here today. One is Bell's Consecrator. And this is, of course, brewed by Bell's. It's American beer. And we have a Spaten Optimator, German. Now, doppelbocks are a type of lager, a strong German lager. And they're one of my favorite styles of beer. Another one of my favorite styles is an IPA. But I like doppelbocks, and I did a video like this a while back comparing Spaten Optimator to Paulaner Salvator. And I can't remember which one I like better. But it's nice when you see an American-made doppelbock, such as Bell's. So I picked it up, and I picked up some Spaten here to compare them. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a visual test. And we're going to check out the aroma, the appearance, and how it pours. Okay, so here's the Bell's. It's got some fizz to it, and here is the Spaten. The Bell's seems to be more fizzy, but now it looks like the Spaten is retaining its head better. The Spaten might be a little darker, the Bell's might be a little clearer. And I can see quite a few bubbles coming up in the Bell's. I can't really see any bubbles coming up in the Spaten because it's so dark. Doppelbocks are malty, and you can smell the malt in here. Oops. This one has a more of that European type smell to it. Now, I wanted to do a blind taste test. I wanted to mix these up, taste them side by side to see which one I like better. But I can tell the difference just by looking at them, so I wouldn't be able to mix them up. Spaten is obviously darker. I can see bubbles coming up in the Bell's, but you can't see through the glass with the Spaten. So I'm just going to have to taste them the way they are, knowing which is which. But I don't think that I'm biased. At least I hope I'm not. I have no preference between these two beers. You know, I don't have any preference for German beers or preference for American beers. And I just hope there's nothing subconscious telling me that one's better than the other. So we'll see. So here's the Bell's. It's smooth, malty, caramely. Not a lot of bite. It's got some bitterness follow through. Not a lot of bite at first, and kind of more bitter going down, or bitter as it goes into the back of your mouth. I like it. A little bit more of a bite going into your mouth, followed by a very similar taste to the Bell's. It is quite bitter, but it's good. It's malty. It's kind of it kind of has a taste almost like it's burnt. a burnt taste to it. And this one is smoother. Smoother going in, smoother going down. That's really the only difference, at least that I can tell, which is obvious. The bells goes in quite smoothly and goes down quite smoothly. The Spaten has a little bit of a bite to it going in, but as far as the flavor goes, they're pretty much the same. I really can't tell the difference in flavor. The only difference that I can tell is the bite, or kind of like when you have a nice carbonated soda on a hot day. You take that, drinking that soda, yeah, carbonation hits you, and this feels really refreshing. Whereas this one, the Spaten, has more of that type of hit to it, the carbonation. Even though I'm not sure it's actually any more carbonated than the bells. It just has that feel to it. The bite. Whereas the bells seems to be less carbonated, but I'm not sure it really is. It doesn't have the bite that one has. Because it's carbonated. I can see the bubbles coming up in there. I don't know if you can see this. But I believe it's just as carbonated as the Spaten. You can take a look at the Spaten here and see if you can see anything in there. I can see some bubbles now. So let's see what the alcohol content is. So for the bells has an 8.0% ABV. That's pretty good. 8%. It's Spaten. Well, also you got to remember that the bocks are traditionally more strong than lagers, so they're going to have a higher alcohol content. And a doppelbock or a doppelbock is a strong bock, so it's even going to be higher in alcohol. So the Spaten is 7.6. So they're both very close in alcohol content. 8 for the bells, 7.6 for the Spaten. So which one would I like? Which one would I recommend? I'd recommend them both because they both have a good caramely malty flavor. They're both good doppelbocks. But the only difference, as I said, is that smoothness. This one's smoother and this one's more harsh. But when I'm saying harsh, I mean, what I'm saying is the difference between the harshness of this one and the smoothness of this one is small. So you take that on a hot day and you get that nice hit. And you might like this one better. I don't know. This one might have a more of a rich caramel taste, at least in that taste that I just did. I drank this one and then I followed up with this one, and this one seemed to have a more rich caramely taste to it, stronger. Let's try it the other way. I'll drink this one and chase it with that. I didn't get the same effect, but I did like the effect of the more harshness, as I mentioned, of this, chasing it with that. That was a nice follow-up. I tend to think this one might be a tad bit more rich in flavor, and this one might be a little bit more harsh than this. So, what's your preference? For me, I'd probably go with the Spaten. Because I like that. I like a little bit of a bite to the beer sometimes. Because, you know, to me, the more smooth the beer is, the easier it goes down, the more it is like water. I don't like flat beer. I don't like flat beer. I don't like flat soda. I don't like flat sparkling water, which is just water. So, if something is supposed to be carbonated, then I like it to be carbonated. That's just my opinion, my preference. And I like beer that's carbonated. I don't like fizzy beer that just fizzes away on your tongue as soon as you drink it. That's too carbonated. But which one of these is most carbonated, I don't know. But this one seems to be more carbonated than this one by a little bit, and that's what I like. So, if I had to choose between the two, I would choose Spaten. But that doesn't mean that I don't like the bells at all, because I do like it. So, thanks for watching.